Dave Anderson here with the Fisherman magazine, and this week we've got largemouth bass fishing really starting to light up across southern New England. We have awesome trout fishing taking place in Massachusetts and Connecticut. We have holdover striper fishing in the Housatonic River reaching a level that it's becoming crowded. Stay tuned for all that and more on this week's New England Fishing Forecast.
The Fishing News is sponsored by these fine partners.
So before we begin, I just want to remind you again that I am giving away one of these Floyd Roman Nikes that I built in a photo contest. If you're not familiar with how it works, you just have to go fishing, take a photo, and email it to me at danderson@thefisherman.com. The only stipulations are the photo needs to be recent, and it has to show the angler. You can't just take a picture of that fish laying on the ground. I want nice photos. I'm going to pick my favorites. The grand prize winner will get one of these. I'm going to give away some Yozuri products to the runners-up, and that's going to end on April 13th, and then I think probably do another one. Starting to work pretty well, starting to get a lot more photos, so keep them coming, and I'll keep providing. So as we move over into Massachusetts, just like I alluded to in the intro, the freshwater fishing for many species now is really starting to look great. One thing that's really starting to kick is the trout fishing on the Cape. It's been good for a while, but this week it really seemed to fire up. A lot of stocking trucks rolling around now, so a lot of new fish introduced into the waterways, which translates to a lot of dumb fish in the waterways. So they're easier to catch and more abundant. Jerkbaits are working very well. Tins are working very well. I talked to Ian from the Goose Hummock Shop. He said that the Ned rig bite for trout was on fire this week. So don't forget your little finesse worms when you head out that way. It's been a really effective way to get them, and it's not a way that most guys are utilizing. So keep that in mind. And then bass fishing, too, has been really good. We're starting to see some herring moving into the runs now, which is getting these bigger bass even more excited because those big largemouth, they have no problem taking down a herring. So we're starting to see the big bait bite starting to pick up now. I saw MGC posted a picture of my buddy Dan Southwick with a 5-pounder on a swim bait. And my buddy Mike Lucini had another nice fish this week. So we're starting to see more and bigger fish being taken on a wider variety of methods. As I mentioned, the swim bait bite is firing up. We're starting to hear a lot more fish caught on jigs now, and the jerk baits are still working as well. Heading up into interior Massachusetts, the fishing in central Mass has been really good too. The ice is off almost everywhere. And all the reports I'm hearing have been positive. A lot of good catches. Let's toss it over to Roy Laver right now and hear what he's seeing out in central and western Mass.
Hey Dave, just checking in for this week. Hope you can hear me with the dam out behind me. Try to talk a little bit loud. Fishing has been phenomenal in central and western Mass this week. Spring is here. Obviously it's kicked off a lot of things. A lot of species looking to spawn. A lot of fish moving into coves and shallows out of the deep. It's one of those time of the year where it's really hard to pick something to fish for, whether it's carp, trout, pike, walleye, channel cats in the Connecticut River. I mean, it's a phenomenal time of the year and one of my favorites. Ice, there's still some ice, not safe ice, but there is still some ponds that are capped over, mostly in the hill towns and Berkshires, as of a couple days ago. I'm guessing probably by now everything's kind of open or almost open. Fishing's just, it's gangbusters right now. So if you're looking to get out, this is a great time. Also, it's a good time to pick up gear at some of the shows that are going on. I know I'll be at Mohegan all this week along doing some seminars. We've got a really good one, a roundtable seminar where me, Al Gags, and Crazy Alberto sit at a round table and answer questions. So hopefully see you guys around. Stay safe and good fishing. I'll get back to you guys next week.
Thanks, Roy. Appreciate the video. Can't wait to hear from you next week, buddy. Thank you. And then kind of going in reverse, we'll go up to the North Shore here. Talk to James. He said he wasn't able to get out this past week because he was really busy getting ready for the surf show. But everything he's hearing kind of mirrors with what I'm hearing. A lot of fish being caught, wide variety of species. One of the main places that's seeing a lot of concentration up that way is the Merrimack, where the pike bite and the holdover striper bite has been good. There's been some catfish and some carp taken in there as well. And guys are starting to gear up for the shad. They're not in there yet, but guys are getting excited for that. The one thing I will say that I heard about the pike bite there is that it's transitioned to more of a live bait thing. The guys that are throwing the big baits and big spinner baits and stuff have not been doing quite as well this week. No saltwater reports yet. Coming soon, but nothing's fired up yet. So we'll check back in on that next week. But for now, that's what I have for you guys in Massachusetts this week. Over in Rhode Island, of course, trout season is not open. So don't get excited and go fish a stocked pond in Rhode Island, because they're not open till the second Saturday in April. And if my memory serves, that's April 9th. So you got to hold your fire until then. Bass fishing in the ponds in Rhode Island, very similar to what we're seeing on Cape Cod. It's just not being talked about as much. So all those herring ponds are going to be producing some fish now. And, it's pre-spawn time. So these bass, even if it's not a herring pond, are, they're up and looking around for something to give them some energy for the spawn and to kind of wake themselves up or replenish after a lean winter. So it's a good time to take advantage of that. You can get fish on a variety of methods, just like we were talking about in Mass. It's a great time for big baits. It's an awesome time to throw jigs. And it's one of those times of year when you really have a better than average shot at getting your biggest fish of the year, or maybe the biggest fish you've ever caught. On the saltwater side, not hearing a whole lot. I know the guys are running out to block. I know that they are catching some fish. It sounds like it's been a little bit of a grind. The only other saltwater fish that are being caught right now are striped bass. They're coming from the salt ponds and the estuaries along the South Shore and up into Narragansett Bay. What I've been hearing across the board is that the fish are definitely more abundant, more awake than they have been throughout most of the winter. But it's definitely a lean year, even in some of the better known spots. It's just a little bit of a lean year. So that's something you have to keep in mind. We do have herring again starting to move in, so that's going to get whatever fish are in those estuaries a little bit more interested, a little more excited, and a little more willing to chase down faster moving or bigger baits. So that's another thing to keep in mind. We are hearing about some white perch in many of these tidal estuaries as well. So that's pretty much the story in Rhode Island. Things are going to continue to fire up in the state, especially once trout opens up. But until then, you just got to look out for those little orange signs, the ones that say trout stocked waters, because you don't want to cross that line. I did it once and it didn't end well. That's the story that I have for you guys in Rhode Island this week. In Connecticut, the story is really largely the same as it has been for the last 2 to 3 weeks. Ever since the ice melted off on the Connecticut River, the pike fishing has been above average. What I've heard this week, same thing. It's above average, although I didn't hear about any big ones taken this week. That doesn't mean that there weren't any taken or there won't be any caught next week. Just didn't hear about anything of exceptional size. Still good numbers of fish being taken in that 20 to 30 inch range. All those males lining up to try to impress the females. You know how it goes. So that is one fishery that's firing on all cylinders right now. We have holdover striped bass fishing, which is good really across the whole state. In all of the famous spots that you've heard about, the Thames, some of the tributaries of the Connecticut River, some of these lesser rivers in between, and then, of course, the crown jewel, the Housatonic. Everything I've been hearing from the Housatonic has been great. A lot of fish being taken, a lot of, nice size fish being taken, a lot of 15 to 22-pound fish being taken. But, these days, especially when the fishing gets good, word travels quick, and then crowding becomes an issue. So we're definitely hearing about a lot of guys kind of sardined into some of the hotter zones on the Hoosie. And, if it's a long drive for you, basically what I'm telling you is you may want to look elsewhere, because, if you're driving 2 hours to find out that the 3 spots you usually fish are packed shoulder to shoulder, you might end up having an expensive ride for a friendly Sunday or something like that. So just something to keep in mind. The night bite has definitely been better for the bigger fish, and the daytime bite is mostly on the boats, and it's a serious fleet out there, a veritable flotilla of bass boats out there. And of course, trout fishing across the state. Again, we're lot of stocking going on, a lot of restocking going on. So really, no matter where you live in Connecticut at this point, if you have a favorite trout spot, odds are, whether it's a stream, river, lake, or pond, or whatever, odds are it's been stocked at least once. And, you know, some of the famous ones, you know, the Farmington, the Salmon, the Mill River, and the, 800 others that I haven't mentioned, a lot of them have now gotten their second stocking at this point. And, again, go on the Deep website and just read the rules. I've done my best to decipher them, but, everyone I talk to seems to have a different interpretation. So interpret them for yourself and, make sure you're following the rules. But things are looking good, and the trout bite has been very good. Now we're going to throw it over to Max from Fisherman's World. We're going to hear what's going on out in the western part of the state. Take it away, Max.
We got a lot going on this week. They stocked the Rippewan River, Aspetuck, Saugatuck, and they put a lot of fish in the Mill River. We've seen some really good fish this week, all on the trout side. Guys are catching them on a variety of baits, live baits, shiners, worms, roosters, cast masters, and small jigs. Actually, a shop employee here, Tyler Carlo, got a nice one. I'll add some pictures to the video. And then the Housatonic is really starting to pick up. We've seen a lot of nice fish in the mid-teen to mid 20 pound range. And it should just get better. Thanks and good luck.
Thanks, Max. Always appreciate your insights and the time you take putting these videos together. Hopefully we're going to get together one of these days soon and go catch some bass. Until then, thanks again for the videos. And as far as the rest of you guys go, thanks for watching. Thanks for, subscribing to the Fisherman. Hopefully you are. If you're not a subscriber, definitely head over to the website, check out what we got going on. We got reports, we got articles, we got videos, we got the whole thing. Whether you want to build a lure or catch any species of fish that swims in New England, chances are you can make a quick search and you'll find what you're looking for on our website. If that still doesn't convince you, at the very least, give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube and hit that little bell thing down there so you get a notification every time we post something new. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Steigercraft boats, built by people who fish our waters. Serious anglers choose Steigercraft for their 40 years of boat building experience right here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Visit steigercraft.com for a dealer near you.